This is Tyler Lewis with Phenom Hoops. We're honored today to have one of the best coaches in North Carolina, Coach Johnson. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Coming off a state championship last year, you had tons of talent on your team with CJ, Jackson, and y'all just had a tremendous amount of chemistry and leadership. How has this year been for you guys, kind of bouncing back and trying to get back to where you were last year?
It's been challenging only because we've got so many new guys. We really lost 10 guys off of last year's state championship team, with only really one guy returning that played significant minutes on last year's state championship team. And so you're introducing a lot of new concepts and things to new kids and young players and all that. And so it's been a challenge, but I've been pleased with the guys. I think they've really worked real hard, and I think we've gotten better. And that's kind of what we try to focus on, just trying to get better.
Yep, get 1% better every day. And
Yeah, yeah.
in Davidson Day, every time I watch you guys play, like y'all just play so well together. You run your offense, y'all defend, y'all just. How do you describe your coaching style and the team chemistry year in and year out?
I think any place I've been, we really try to emphasize that we've got to do it as a team. So whether it's offense, defense, we really try to play together as a team, and that means like offensively, the ball's moving. We really don't want it kind of staying with one guy. We're really we try to be hard to guard, and I don't mean just one guy or team. We try to be really hard to defend with kind of some of the things that we do with some of our actions in our offense. And then defensively, trying to get guys to understand that, it's going to take all five of us to kind of defend the basketball and not kind of one guy. And I think kids have kind of bought into that just because I think in order to be successful, you have to. And I think for a lot of our kids, fortunately, we've been able to have some success in the past in other places I've been, and kids go, okay, well, maybe he knows what he's talking about if we just do that. And so I think it's been nice. The kids have kind of bought into it, and I think they picked up on things fairly well.
When a coach like you, I mean, it's kind of easy for people to buy into it. I mean, your resume speaks for itself, 5 state championships, and going on those 5 state championships. Which team would you say is one of your favorite teams that you had to coach?
Gosh, of those five, I mean, they're all have been really, really special, like in their own right. I think the first one that you win, there's a kind of a special place in your heart for that group of guys because you spend so much time trying to get it and trying to get to that level. And that was 2001 at the Benjamin School. That was like 20 years ago. And so those guys just actually started reaching out to me over Christmas and trying to get together this year for like a 20th year anniversary kind of deal. But that was really special. And I would say too that the first year that we won at the Burlington School, we had kids like Romeo Ferguson, and those kids were really, really that was special. And then we followed up 2 years later. We went 34-0 with John Meeks and kids like Terry Woods and T.J. Jeffers and those guys, and that was special. But last year was really, I mean, that was awesome because of the way the year ended. The year before, we lost I guess it was the quarterfinals. We lost to Wayne Country Day at our place, and the same group of guys just committed themselves in the spring and summer to getting better, and kind of seeing that year kind of play out with culminating that you wanted to play in Wayne Country Day in a championship game. And I think it was great. It was a really good group of kids last year. So answering your question, I can't really say one. I think they were really, really special.
No, that's awesome, and I know each one's definitely very special. This year, it's been so challenging with COVID going on, schedule changes, this and that. How have you been able to keep your guys' minds on track throughout the year?
Really, I try not to change a whole lot. I mean, we've done we've been really consistent with kind of how we've done things. Even when we took a 16-day pause in December where there was no practice, there was nothing going on, and so you kind of stay in contact with your guys via Zoom You talk a little basketball, you talk about workouts, but then you just talk about other things too, just to stay connected as a group. Um, but yeah, it really has been. We just tried to stay really consistent. So when the masks were added right at the end of November, beginning of December, we just put them on, and you know what, you play, and so that's kind of what we've done. We've just really tried to stay consistent. Practice has been basically the same. We've added, a few more kind of breaks. When I say breaks, it's free throws and quick drink, and we're back. We've added a few more of those segments to practice, but for the most part, we've just kind of done what we've been doing and tried not to change a whole lot.
And you mentioned the mask. I talked to a lot of kids, and even though they don't like it, they just want to be out there playing. They'll do anything to be out there, whether they're wearing a mask or not. They just want to play.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like, all right, don't wear the mask and don't play, or wear the mask and play. Kids put on the mask because they, just want to get out there. They want to play, and yeah, it is. It's not great. I've been doing a lot of running, and so I have the mask on and I run in it, and it's tough sometimes to breathe. And I can only imagine the kids. They expel a lot more energy than I am when I'm doing my little running. But they've been resilient, and they've been just like I said, happy to be out there playing. And so you got to do what you have to do in order to keep playing.
That's awesome. Will you go into little details of some of your players this year and how just what they do well and everything?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'll start with Niles Howard. Niles is a junior, and he is. I mentioned returning guys from last year. He's the only guy really that they saw any significant minutes last year on our team from last year. And he's our point guard. Starts there, and lefty. He's just done a little bit of everything for us. He's averaging close to 10 points per game, and about three assists a game, and he gets about two and a half steals a game, and rebounds the ball for us. So he does a little bit of everything. Normally guards the other team's best perimeter player, and so he's been great. I think he's got a lot of potential. Because Donovan Atwell has played well for us too, being new at our school and new in kind of what we do. I think he's just really gotten better throughout the season. I think he's an underrated defender too. Actually, I don't even think he really understands how good he could be defensively. He's just done a really good job with that. He's a great shooter. I think people understand that he shoots the ball well, but he has just been a really good teammate too for our guys. He's got a great attitude, and so it's been great having him. Blaine St. Clair, it's about 6'4", 6'5". He is committed to West Point. He's one of our two seniors that we have on our team, and just tough, like rugged kid, pretty versatile guy too. He shoots the ball from the outside, and he's had to play a little bit more, inside or closer to the basket for us this year. We don't have the size that maybe we've had in the past, and he's been kind of a willing soldier in that he's kind of just jumped in and kind of done whatever's necessary.
I love watching him just because he does all the little things out there on the court that you would want as a coach. Like he hustles, he plays hard. You know he's gonna give you 100%
Yeah,
every time. And I think he's like a little bit more athletic than what people think he is.
absolutely.
And
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, he is. Yeah, really athletic. He just can guard a number of positions too. And
yep.
it's interesting that we're down to like 9 guys now on our team, and so and you mentioned how hard he plays, and I want him to play so hard, but sometimes I'm like, please don't get hurt, because we're like down to nine guys. But so yeah, he's done a great job for us too, being a senior and being new at our school, and he's a headmaster's list kid, so academically really strong student. Trey Horton is another kid that has got a lot of potential. Last year, Trey didn't play because of his knee. He actually had knee surgery in October of last year. I guess that would have been October 2019. He had knee surgery, and he didn't come back, get on the floor at all until the end of January 2020. And so he really didn't play at all last year. But I think he's a kid too that he's a sophomore. So a lot of schools have called about him just because he's got so much potential.
No, those are really, really good players. And I know you're really really enthused to have all of those guys because they're so special and they play so well together. And
Yeah.
obviously, it helps a coach when you have players like that on your team. It makes
Yeah, no, no, no question.
it makes coaching a little bit more easy, a little
Yeah,
easier.
it does. It really does. Yeah, and kids are just so willing to be coached, and that is a big deal too. Is that you've got guys that are coachable. I didn't mention too. I got three freshmen who I think are going to be really good players too, and they're kind of in our rotation and playing a lot of minutes. And that's the other. That's just why I'm so excited about our team this year is because I think when you lose the number of guys we lost off of last year's team, and you come back, you've got these three freshmen now who are right in our rotation and playing a ton of minutes. Jackson Prunty, who has I think a lot of potential too. He's 6'4", almost 6'5" now. I think he gets a little bit taller every time I see him. He's projected to be 6'9", and so I think he's a really smart player. Quay Watson, who is I don't know, Quay is maybe he's 5'6", 5'7", maybe. But really, really tough kid, smart player, good ball handler, and has made some big shots for us this year. And then Derek Ely, who is probably about 5'8" or 5'9" or so, and tough kid, really athletic. And so those three kids have been able to really, really help us out in a lot of ways.
And those freshmen, they're nice to have because now you have them for 3 more years,
Yeah, absolutely.
especially when they're playing such a big role for you already and big shots are already being hit.
Yeah,
You know that you're in good hands for years to come.
absolutely.
Um, and I know this year's scheduling's been tough. I mean, you mentioned you're from New Jersey. You're playing like you're supposed to play private schools, you're supposed to play public schools, and down here sometimes it just doesn't happen. It's up in tournaments. But this year you already played Lake Norman, and then now this Saturday you'll have a big time matchup with South Granville. How do you feel about that matchup on Saturday?
I think it's good for us because I mean they're a really really good team, and as you get into state playoffs, I mean those are the kind of teams that you've got to face and be able to figure out how to stay on the floor with those guys. And I got a lot of respect for their program. We played when I was at the Burlington school. We played in their Christmas tournament one year, and I really like the coach and kind of what they do, and this super talented team, and they're averaging like 90 points per game this year, and so I haven't really focused on kind of what we're going to do and how we're going to defend. We got a game tonight, then we play on Friday, and then we play them on Saturday. So I haven't really focused so much on them yet, but I know a little bit about their team, and they're really good. I'm excited to have an opportunity to play them. Just because they're really talented.
And these are, like you said, these are the type of games where you won't in the regular season because they battle test you for the state tournament. And
Yeah.
when you're playing teams that has a really good point guard, in which they do,
Hmm.
he's tremendous.
Yeah.
Um, those are the type games and that you won't on your schedule. And how do you think like that game or these tough games is going to help you in the long haul?
Well, I think it helps helps you to see kind of where your guys are, because you don't want to find out in kind of mid-February that your guys just maybe either one aren't tough enough or don't have the um, don't have the level of focus that you need in games like that. So it's good to kind of find that out now. And if there's some corrections that need to be made, you got some time to correct that maybe before you get to a state playoff game. Um, but yeah, I think it helps us overall. Just as a coach, even I think matching up with a school that's as good as they are, as talented as they are, okay, it forces you to have to take a look at what's the best way for us to attack that, and just keeps you on your toes as a coach too.
For sure. And I know you guys, I mean, like I said, like you want these tests in mid-season.
Yeah.
So when February the state championship comes around, you'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, yeah, and it is a really really tough task this year. There's so many good teams out there, particularly in our state classification, Class 2A. There's so many really good teams that yeah, you just got to kind of game by game and see where you can go.
I mean, honestly, that 2A division could be one of the toughest in the state.
Yeah,
With
I'm probably a little biased, but I think it is when I kind of look at the entire 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A.
yeah,
I think 2A is really Really tough, man. There's some really good teams there, at the top.
I definitely agree with you. There's so many good teams. When did you kind of realize you were going to step into being a coach?
Um, yeah, I think my first glimpse of it was I probably was in I don't know, maybe ninth or 10th grade. My little brother played on a rec league team. Back then, it wasn't like AAU, and so it was really like Saturday morning rec teams. And so he was playing, and then I had to wait maybe 2 games, and I was going to play. But we got to the gym. It was time for him to play, and his coach wasn't there. And so I jumped down and I just kind of coached his team through that game. And it was my first time really coaching anything, and I enjoyed it. I really liked the idea, really trying to help these kids, do what I thought at the time was the right thing, so they can maybe have a chance to win the game. And just the kids' response to me, I was probably maybe 5 years older than those kids, and just the response they gave me, and I kind of liked that. And I thought, man, maybe I'll do this in the future. And but really, at probably once I got to college, I knew I wanted to coach, and so I started at that point. Even as a freshman in college, I started reading a lot of books. I read a lot of kind of what Rick Pitino was doing. I read a lot of kind of what John Chaney was doing with his teams at Temple, and read a lot of kind of Bobby Knight's. Read up a lot on just motion offense, just a lot of things. I started doing that throughout college, and really watch what other teams ran. As we were going over scouting report, you kind of start taking in all that stuff, and you start developing what you really like as a coach and what you think is. Again, I graduated, I was 21 or so from college, and you think, okay, yeah, here's what I'm going to do. And then you make a lot of mistakes along the way. And then you come up with kind of, okay, well, this is what I think is the best way to do certain things. So,
For sure. What is kind of your mission statement, your motto from like the AD standpoint and a coaching standpoint every day for your team?
yeah. It really is not mine. I think I was at a coaches conference. Actually, it was an AD's conference about maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. It was a guy named Jeremy Boone spoke, and Jeremy is a kind of a motivational speaker. He's been a coach. I know he's trained some professional athletes before, but he talked about, and it was something that resonated with me because it's so always kind of the way I've been from the time I was probably in ninth grade in terms of my own workouts. But he talked about being the best at getting better. And so I kind of adopted it. After I heard that, I thought, man, that's kind of how I just never put it that way. But I've always tried to, I didn't want anybody to outwork me. I didn't want anyone to improve more than I have. Now, you might be better than me, but the improvement that I'm going to make, I'm going to improve more than you are. I'm going to get better than you are. From where I am now to where I'm going to end up, I always felt like I'm going to make a big jump in what I do. And so, as an athletic director, that's something that we've talked about even in our program 3 years ago when I got back to Davidson days. That I've talked to our coaches about really being the best at getting better, and if we really focus on that, then where we end up at is going to be a really good place. Just focus on getting better kind of every day, and that's kind of what we've done with I've always done that with my team. I've just never really put it in that phrase, but we do now. We use that terminology a lot.
Well, I'm definitely going to steal that quote from you. I love it, and just about your daily life. I mean, be the best at getting better. Everyone can get better,
Absolutely.
And like you said, you want to like with our personalities, you want to be the hardest worker. There can be somebody better than you, but nobody can work harder than you. Or at the end of the day, you got to be happy with yourself when you lay your head on that pillow at night that you worked the hardest that you could. You were the best you could that day.
Yeah, that to me is a choice, right? You make that choice as to, man, am I going to lay it all out today, and not really even looking at anybody else, not looking at what that guy's doing and that guy's doing, where they are, who's mentioning that guy. I'm just going to look at me, and did I give it everything I got today?
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. One of my last questions to you, coach. Every coach has that like do-over moment that you wish that you could go back and change.
Yeah, yeah.
What would be your do-over moment?
Um, Yeah, mine. The thing that jumps out at me right away. I have been in 6 state championship games, and we lost one, and it would be probably that game. It was it was when I was at Davidson Day the first time. It was 2012. It was February 2012, and we were playing in a state championship game against Northside, and we were ahead, and they were making a comeback, and um, it was a timeout I probably should have called, and I didn't call it. I thought, okay, we're going to play through this, and they just, I mean, they went on a little bit of a run. Um, they had a kid named, last name I think was Gordon, at the North Side. I think he wound up playing at God, where did he play at? Wofford, maybe. Really good player. Anyway, scout report said, don't play him beyond the 3-point line. Let him, let him have it. And of course, we let him have it. I think he made like 2 of them. And, anyway, so yeah, I wish I could do something over. I wish I could do something in that game over again, just to kind of help those kids. And it was a great group of kids. I think we finished 31-4 for the year. Rashawn Davis was on that team. I think you remember Rashawn. Yeah, I think that the year before that, I think we played you guys at Forsyth, and you just like really hurt us really bad. So I don't think I've ever forgiven you for that one. You just you hurt us really bad that game. But anyways, it was a really good group of guys, and for your kids, when you get to that level, man, you want to win it, not so much for yourself, but for the kids. And the fact that we weren't able to get it done, I think that's the thing that kind of always haunts me. I always think about what could I have done better. So.
No, for sure. All right. My next question is it is my last question. I don't want to end on a bad note. You got to tell me your favorite basketball moment from either as a kid or from up to now.
Favorite basketball moment. I think the state championship wins when it's over and all that stuff. I think you hug your wife and your kids and all that. I think those are great. But when I grew up, like I said, New Jersey, and at one point the Nets played at they were in New Jersey at the time. They weren't in Brooklyn. Then they were in New Jersey, and they used to play at when they were building the Meadowlands. I'm gonna tell you how far I go back. They were building the Meadowlands, so the Nets used to play at Rutgers University, at the Rutgers Athletic Center at the RAC. And so they would play there. And so me and my friends, I don't know, I don't know, I might have been 11, 12 or whatever. And so we used to go to the RAC. We'd take the campus bus, go to the RAC, and we would stand out front and look as sad as we could. And we'd ask people if we can get a ticket, or do you have any extra tickets or whatever. And so now I do not condone this, and I am not advocating this for anyone, but one of us would get a ticket and we go in, and then somebody would open up the back door to the arena, and like 3 or 4 of us would scurry in, and we go and we sit up top in the rafters. So we love it. We're watching the game, NBA players. But the coolest thing was that after the game was over, like we go out back and wait because the charter buses were there, and all the pros would come out. They come out and get on the bus. So I saw the first time I saw Julius Erving, Dr. J. He had this huge afro, and I mean he looked like he was 8 foot tall to me, and he shook my hand. For me, growing up too, my favorite player was always George Gervin. And when I saw George, I can't say I met him. I just saw him for the first time, and he walked by and he high-fived me. For a kid, when you're like 11 years old, and like these guys are like NBA players and they're professionals, and they come out and they actually acknowledge you, it was a big deal, for me. So obviously, I'm over 50, and I still remember that like it was like yesterday. So yeah, it definitely was a big moment for me.
Well, that's awesome. It just teaches so much, like what these athletes can, make an impact on so many kids that can last a lifetime.
Absolutely, yeah. I think they
It's
can
really cool.
inspire us. Yeah.
So, well, thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season. We'll be pulling for you guys, and just excited, and just thanks for coming on here, and good luck
Yeah.
the rest of the way.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you
No
very much.
problem.
We'll see you.